Hey guys, welcome back to the homestead. Today we're cleaning out our fireplace. We can start to feel that nip in the air, and we have to get some preparations made for wintertime, and that includes getting this thing cleaned out so that we can start fires going and have it be heating our house. I'm going to take you through a little bit about how we like to do that. First, I'm going to be running you through the tools that we have to use. So the tools we're going to be using today are a ratchet with a 6.5mm attachment, a trash bag or some other kind of bag that doesn't have any holes in it, some duct tape, a chimney sweep brush. This we found on Amazon for pretty inexpensive. This is the poly bristles, and we also have some extension rods. This also came off Amazon. You can get both of these for fairly inexpensive. I think both of these together with shipping was less than $75. Now this flue is super simple. We've only got a few bolts right here that attach this part of the chamber to the fireplace. And this size, it fits a 6.5mm attachment to our ratchet set here. So first thing we need to do is loosen up these 3 bolts to get this part taken off of the flue. Oh, that was really in. Now this one's the bigger pain. It's down right here against this, and there's very little wiggle room. Every year I have issues with this one bolt, and I always have issues with this little thing falling out of my hands and into the chamber, where I have to get a magnet or something like that and try to fish it out. That's not going to be this year. I did not lose it. Alright, so those 3 screws are out. I'm going to keep them back here in my pockets for safekeeping. We're done with this. Now we push down, and this little part is going to go down into the fire chamber. Just like that. I'm going to slip this little adjuster off, and that comes out fairly easily. Sort of wiggle it out. There's some buildup. So this is what the chimney brush looks like. Be sure to check what you'll have to measure the thickness, the width of your flue, to know what size of brush you'll be needing if you do order one of these online and you can't see how big it is. You'll need to know the width of that. And we're going to be cleaning this outside just to try to help keep Rachel's living room a little bit cleaner. All of that stuff, that's not supposed to be there. That's buildup from the fires that we've had in it. That's creosote. If you've heard that term before, that's what that is. Just going to run this brush through it a couple times. Might have to keep a pretty good hold of it. This thing fights you all along the way. Make sure it's got a good scrub on it. It's really important that you clean out your flues at the beginning or end of every winter, just so you don't run the danger of chimney fires. That's what that creosote can do, depending on the kind of wood that you're burning. Some woods are more dirty than others, and they leave a lot more creosote in the chimney. But if you let that build up for too long, eventually that will catch flame, and then you'll have what they call a chimney fire, and that can be super, super dangerous. For this particular part of the flue, this brush won't fit in there, so what I did is I usually steal one of Rachel's old dishwasher or dishes scrubby, whatever. Just sort of give that a scrub. I usually try to get her old one so that, you know, if it's getting a little bit old, she was looking to throw it out and get a new one anyway, I can hurry and use it for this instead and get one more little bit of use out of it. I'm gonna call that good. You don't have to get these things squeaky clean, but as long as you can get the majority of the creosote off, it really helps mitigate the risk of those chimney fires. Now, for the cleaning inside the firebox, what a lot of people do is they'll get a shop vac, which we do have that, and then they'll just, you know, scrape around in here if they need to and vacuum it all out. I found out last year that instead of troubling with all that, and if you don't have a shop vac, there's this part inside. I can reach around and reach my hand out this way, and I can find the edge of what's sort of like a board or a brick. This is the top of the firebox. It's not anchored onto anything, and you can lift that up. You can sweep the creosote buildup off the top of that, or you can just sweep it off the edge right down into the firebox. You see it falling? And you can get it out that way. Get that scrubby that we had before. You want to just give the inside of this a quick scrub. I'm just scraping right now. I'm scrubbing the underside of this part right here. Honestly, this fireplace isn't too terribly dirty this year. We've had years where it's just come out of the flue in sheets because we either had really dirty wood or it had been too long since we'd cleaned it. We were probably dangerously close to having a chimney fire and we didn't know it. And the little bit that remains, it's loose now. The little bit of creosote that remains, it's loose, so it'll just burn up and not be too big of a worry. Now what I need to do is clean this big flue. We are actually quite blessed. We've got a very simple flue. It just goes straight up and out the chimney and no bends or anything like that. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go up to the roof and start brushing out this flue. But before I do that, so as, again, not to make too much of a mess in the living room here, what we like to do is get that trash bag. Again, you're really gonna wanna make sure that whatever you use to catch this stuff doesn't have any holes in it. We're gonna wrap this around the opening of the flue where it ends here. And we're gonna make sure there's a really good seal on the bag. You want a good seal on this stuff because as you scrape the inside of your flue, it can get a little bit dusty and you don't want any of that stuff escaping into the inside air. So we make sure this is good and tight around here. And we're gonna get some duct tape to just really complete that seal, tape this thing and attach it to the flue. And then we'll be all set to go up top. All right, now we've got the bag attached. Now all that's left is to go up to the roof. Don't forget your chimney brush and your extension rods. I'm also gonna take this socket wrench because there's a cap on the top of our chimney that is attached with bolts that go to this attachment as well. So I'm gonna take that. All right, now I'm up top here. I'm gonna take the cap off of our chimney sweep. It takes the same fitting as I said before. Rach is being super sweet and filming this, and she's deathly afraid of heights, so kudos to her for doing this for me. Need to loosen up these 3 bolts here. Okay, just that easy. And this screen part right here slides out of this. These just sort of hold it there by tension. And again, like I said, this isn't horrible at all. I don't even really need to do much, but if you were gonna do it, we just take the brush, go along on the inside of it. As long as it looks like you can tell it's a mesh screen, you're good. One of the years that we did this, you couldn't even tell that this was a screen. It had just been so caked over with creosote that it was just like, it was a miracle. We were praising the creator that we didn't actually have some kind of a major disaster. We didn't know why smoke wasn't backing up into the house because this was just coated all along. There's so much that came off of it that year. You can tell what creosote looks like. It's just that black tar hardened stuff. Now, what we're gonna do is take this thing and shove it all the way down until it comes out the other end where you saw we attached that garbage bag. And to do that, we're gonna use our extension rods here. I believe we ended up using all of our extension rods, or maybe all but one. I have a normal thread, male and female end that they thread together like this. What works better for us, rather than try to attach all of the rods at once and have them to try to work with this big, long, cumbersome rod while you're feeding the brush down into the chimney, we just attach it one length at a time as we go down. Now we attach another one. I can already hear the creosote falling down. And I'm just gonna keep attaching these lengths as I push the brush further and further down until I come out the other side. You'll wanna push the brush back and forth through your flue a few different times, maybe 5, 6, 10 times. And each time you do, it's helpful if you push it all the way through to the end and then bring it back up and out, rather than trying to push it down some of the way and bring it back up. All right, we're done on the roof. Now we're back inside. All that's left now is to take this bag back off and reattach the connection between the flue and the firebox. Give it a little bit of a wiggle to get it down in there. Bring this other end up to meet it. Right now, I'm just trying to get this bottom piece lined up with where the holes right here will line up with the holes in here where the screws thread in. Now, we've put the flue back on, we've put the bolts back in, and something to remember, if you've got something this rigid that you're working with and multiple screws, you don't want to get one in and tighten it down super tight, because you want to keep it so that this flue still has a little bit of give if you need to adjust and move the flue to where the holes line up, if that makes sense. So you don't tighten any one bolt down at once. What I would do is get them all in through the fireplace into the holes in the flue, get them all threaded in somewhat before you tighten any one down, just so you always have that give if you need to adjust the flue at all to line up the holes. Now, if you want to, you can really finish up getting your fireplace spick and span and brush out the creosote that you've brushed down in here. I don't think I'm gonna do that. All this stuff is, actually I might do that. I didn't see any need to clean out this firebox from last year, and it's looking pretty gross. So I'm gonna clean out the ashes and the creosote here, and it'll be ready for a fire. And that about does it for cleaning your fireplace. You're all ready to go to heat your home for the winter time. Thank you for watching our video and tuning in to see how we do a little bit. If you found this video helpful in any way, or if you enjoyed watching it, be sure to give us a thumbs up before you leave, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And we look forward to seeing you again in the next one. Take it easy.